In terms of how the Ofsted team will actually inspect the quality of governance within your school, they'll have a wide range of evidence that they can use to make their judgments on whether the quality of your governance actually stands up to real scrutiny. Um, the list shown below, the first set of bullet points, isn't exhaustive, and it doesn't mean they're going to necessarily go through every single section on here. However, it provides you with a really good benchmark of the type of evidence that they will look for. They'll have meetings with governors or trustees. They'll use first-hand observations and reading the paperwork that's been gathered during the inspection. They'll take account of the responses of staff members, pupils and parents to the inspector's questionnaires. They'll look at your documents which set out your priorities, what the vision and values are for the school that you've decided upon, how you've had a role within the school's action plans or the improvement plans. Governance records, so for example, minutes or reports. Be aware of where you've made crucial decisions and make sure they're highlighted and clear and easily accessible when the inspection happens. Obviously, a key document is the school strategic plan or its equivalent that sets out the longer term vision for the school. In addition to that, they'll want to know that governors know about the day-to-day working of the school, that they've got link roles and carry them out effectively through visits and meetings, and know that governors regularly attend full governing board and any committee meetings that might be relevant. Key to remember is they won't expect all governors to be equally involved in the school. What's really important is how well the chair of the board has decided, I suppose, what the skill set is of the governing body to work out how to benefit the school to the maximum. So, for example, you may be able to only attend meetings remotely, but your input in your particular area of expertise is as robust and important as those that are there on a regular basis. One of the key things that the team will do is investigate how the governing board hold the executive leaders of the school to account, particularly around education performance and performance of staff. There are various straightforward ways you can do this. For example, how have you done performance management? Have you employed an external consultant? Have you made sure it's rigorous and based on the school's needs and priorities? Have you got records of meeting minutes that can demonstrate this? Make sure that you receive formal reports about staff performance, about pay reviews. Now, these can be anonymised, but the point is that you are then investigating this, discussing what the head teacher is doing about underperformance, looking at training that's been given, etc. You need to make sure that head teacher performance management is based on clear evidence to show what improvement is, to show how they've met objectives. And key, how do you know standards and performance have been accurately reviewed? Evidence you can use are reports, feedback about observations, learning walks, using governors that have actually managed to get into the school and met with either subject leaders or been into classrooms and looked at books to use that evidence to say we've got a robust evidence base that tells us this is happening on the ground. In terms of a strong evidence base that shows that governors hold the leaders to account for the quality of education to making sure it has a positive impact on all its pupils, the bullet points on the right of this slide give you a really good, robust evidence base to say that you've used this information clearly. It's vital that you understand what the school's attainment or achievement data at key points such as early years, phonics in year 1 and 2, key stage 2 data and any key stage 1 data that happens to be recorded, knowing how cohorts perform. The formal documents such as the inspection data summary report, which is published annually, are good indicators of external benchmarking of how well the school is doing. It provides historical context as well. How has this information been used? How's it been interpreted? And how's this shaped the school's development priorities? If you're not satisfied that the school leaders are using underperformance and dealing with this effectively through rigorous methodology, you may want to ask questions around this about how that will change. Make sure you know what the school's curriculum development areas are and what the strengths are. How are those strengths being used to bring on standards in those other areas? Make sure you're well informed about that progress plan for implementing curriculum priorities and what evidence have you got this is actually happening? Do you receive regular reports back? Is this just from one person or are you hearing it from different representatives of the school team? Gain understanding of how the school is reviewing that quality of education, who is responsible for it. Look at the intent, the implementation, and the impact of the school curriculum. The intent looks at what curriculum knowledge is being delivered, what are the skills that the school's trying to introduce. Implementation is all about how this is taught and assessed within the school. And impact is the outcomes or the results of all that work that's gone in. This may be through external grades, this may be through quality of work. And make sure you've got a basic overview of the performance of key groups and what's been done to overcome their barriers to learning, particularly with the new focus on this framework on those groups we've discussed previously, reminders, SEND, disadvantage, those known to social services, and any others that have been identified at the school as vulnerable. On this slide, there are examples of the type of question that you might be asked or you may wish to consider within your governing board body so that you feel you have robust answers when challenged on this by Ofsted. How are you setting the strategic vision and ambition for the school? It'll obviously focus on the curriculum and what you want pupils to learn, but what sits behind this? What's your reasoning for why that's the curriculum you want for this school? So it's all about what should pupils be able to know and be able to do in your school. There may be something in particular that governors have got, that understanding about the local area, about the children and the families within the school. What is it that's holding them back? What is it pupils don't know and are not able to do? What could the school be doing about it? How are you holding leaders to account for the implementation of the curriculum? And how do you assess just how good it is, how impactful it is? What are you thinking about cultural capital and about disadvantaged pupils in particular? This slide gives a possible narrative that you might actually see about governors. It's just an example statement. It's worth spending some time on to look at where do your governing bodies sit in relation to this. Governors challenge leaders very effectively. They recognise the quality of education within the school while appreciating leaders still have things to work on, such as maintaining high levels of attendance and engagement with hard-to-reach parents. Within that small paragraph is a huge amount of wealth of information which governors will have gathered through different evidence bases. It will have been written in this way because the inspection team will have agreed that the governors have found things out in the right way and have understood what the school's priorities are and how effectively they're being dealt with.